Welcome to A Word from the Word for July 2nd. Today's Bible reading, Acts 10, 1-23. Today's key verse. What God has made clean, do not call common. Acts chapter 10 verse 15. Today's word from the Word. When labels fall, grace rises.
Be careful how you label things or people. In Acts 10, God jolted Peter with a bold truth. Using a vision of animals on a sheet, he urged Peter, "What God has made clean, do not call common." This wasn't just an adjustment to Peter's diet. It was a radical shift in his worldview. He thought he was being faithful, but his labels didn't match God's. This verse urges us to align our perspective with God's truth and never use labels God hasn't intended. Whether it's people, places, or situations, our perception must align with God's truth, not our own biases. Peter lived in a world neatly divided. Everything and everyone was either holy or common. To be holy meant set apart for God. In simplest terms, it meant being a Jew, whereas common meant unclean, off limits, and referred to non-Jews, the Gentiles. This wasn't just cultural, it was ingrained through centuries of religious tradition. To most Jews, Gentiles were outsiders. They didn't follow the law of Moses. They worshiped false gods. They lived differently. So, forming close relationships, entering their homes, or even touching them, unthinkable. This mindset built invisible walls. They're not like us. Even devout Gentiles like Cornelius, who feared God and gave generously to his work, were still seen as outsiders. To Peter, God's saving power was inseparable from his Jewish heritage and tradition and was not intended for Gentiles. So, when God called him to step into a Gentile's home to share the gospel, it clashed with everything he'd been taught. Peter didn't really believe Gentiles were unworthy of love. He simply assumed they were outside holiness's reach. But God uprooted that thinking, and here's where it hits home. We still slap labels on people, don't we? We categorize them by politics, past mistakes, addictions, or appearances. We write off entire communities, biker clubs, pubs and bars, Hollywood, tattoo shops, even certain churches, assuming God's not working there. We've branded people as failures or lost causes when God is moving in ways we can't see. But if God calls someone clean, forgiven, chosen, and accepted, who are we to say otherwise? It's time for a spiritual label audit. Ask God, who or what have I misjudged? Surrender assumptions. Replace human categories with heavenly truth. Instead of avoiding the atheist, the addict, the liberal, the celebrity, the broken, or the Gentile, you might be the very person God wants to use to bring grace. May God open your eyes beyond appearances. May He give you the humility to replace labels with His love. And may you step boldly into places and relationships you once wrote off, knowing grace is always bigger than our categories.